This is Tracey Marshall from Travels with Tracey, and we are traveling through the Middle Ages. I am older, and I call my podcast this because it is just that. Mature travelers, that is, travelers between the ages of 35 and 70, are my specialty, or what I like to do the most. These travelers are more into relishing their time than staying at budget hotels and partying all night. I enjoy people who want to experience where they are, and this week we are further exploring London, one of my most favorite cities in the world, albeit one of the most expensive, behind Tokyo. Tokyo is number one, London's number two, but we can work on that. You can get a budget and stick to it. It's not as expensive as you think it will be. I'll give you some pointers on that, but right now let's concentrate on the icing on the cake. This is where you go to a destination and you have your hotel, you have your transportation, and now the icing are the excursions, those wonderful things that you visit these towns and cities to see. And trust me, in London, there is no end to the excursions that you can have. So let's start with some of the ones I'd recommend. And you know what? I'm going to throw in some that I probably would not recommend, but we'll get to that, and you can make up your own mind. First off, you have to go to Westminster Abbey. What is London without Westminster Abbey? If you miss this in the Tower of London, well, you really haven't seen much of London at all. Westminster Abbey is very centrally located. It has a lot of fascinating anecdotes. But what I would recommend is get there early. The lines line up, they're just terrible. So I would make this probably your first destination in the morning. Make sure you get in. And if you go to the Verger, Verger tour office. This is located at the north door of Westminster Abbey. And these tours are guided. They start at 2 and 2:30 p.m., along with maybe other times during the day. And if you don't take a Verger tour, you're really not going to know what you're seeing. You're going to go into this fantastic cathedral, and you're going to see all these interesting sights, and you're going to be awestruck. Oh my gosh, look at all this. But unless you know what you're looking at, you're really not enjoying, or your knowledge base isn't going to get any higher. For example, Westminster Abbey at one time actually had pigs and chickens and all sorts of things inside the Abbey itself. So you're going to walk in, you're going to see this beautiful nave, and you're going to say, my God, this is gorgeous. And you're going to imagine all the religious things that were conducted in here, as well as the appointing of kings and queens and funerals. But actually, at one time, they also used it as a huge marketplace in the medieval ages. So when you walk in, you're going to see all this sawdust and slop all around, and people selling their wares, and very few people are aware of that. So get a Verger tour. That is That is definitely something I would do. Then, after that, another place I would definitely go to is Buckingham Palace. Now, Buckingham Palace, a lot of people think, oh, why do I want to see Buckingham Palace? Kind of modern. It's not really old. It's not all that traditional. But you know what? It was worth every second of our time. And Buckingham Palace is located, once again, central London. You can only go during a few months, though. It is a seasonal thing, which is in the summer. So don't think about, being able to do it in late fall, winter, early spring. Only the summer, but it is highly recommended. Buckingham Palace is just awe-inspiring. You walk in, you see these beautiful traditional English tapestries, a little bit of a modern flair, though. So you're not in one of those dingy medieval castles. You're really in a much more updated scenery, but it is just stunning. And you really can visualize the Queen being there. You definitely can. Now, this, you definitely have to order your tickets ahead of time. The queue is very long. You want to go to will call. They only allow several people, numerous people in for a day, but you want to get your name in. One thing I wouldn't bother with at Buckingham Palace, but this is me personally, are the Buckingham Mews. Now you're asking, what's a mew? Yeah, I had no idea either. A mew is where they keep their horses and their carriages, which the Queen arrives in. So if you're interested in seeing carriages dated back from like 1850, 1800, the latest carriages, and some of the horses are on display, then I would definitely check it out. But if you're really not and you're crunched on time, I probably would forget the Mews, but definitely Buckingham Palace. So with that being said, I think we're going to sign off at this time, and we will continue talking about some of the other great London opportunities at our next podcast. And I want to thank you for traveling through the Middle Ages with me. And please head to my Facebook page at facebook.com. Travels with Tracey. I have a link to my page in the podcast notes, and please don't forget to subscribe to this podcast on iTunes or your favorite podcast player. When you do, my podcast can automatically upload to your smartphone. Safe travels!